Hey everyone, this is Mike from the Comic Book Trove. I'm here today with another Omnibus review, and today, for a change, I'm going to cover a DC Omnibus. So it feels like it's been a while since I talked about any DC books on the channel, so I wanted to kind of change that, mix things up a little bit. So today I'll be talking about the recently released Justice League New 52 Omnibus, Volume 1. As I say, it's only been out a few weeks, this one I think, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. It's the newest addition to my collection anyway, and I really wanted to take the chance today to just showcase it and just kind of give an overview of it and discuss it a little bit, because I really like this run and I really like the design of this specific Omnibus edition as well, I have to say. The cover here, really nice Jim Lee artwork, you know, that pretty much goes without saying. It's a recolorized version, slightly kind of modified version of the cover of Justice League issue 1. That was, I think, actually the very first comic that launched the New 52 back in 2011. Kind of crazy to think that that's 10 years ago now already. But yeah, obviously beautiful artwork here, showcasing all of the characters that make up the lineup of this team. And everybody's looking great there. The dust jacket as well, it's this really kind of nice sort of matte feel, so it's not glossy. You can probably see it's not got the shine of it, of the glossy types of dust jackets you often see. Take a look at the rest of the dust jacket. The spine, I think, overall, pretty nice design, fairly clean, and I really like this bit on the top. That's a little image of the full team lineup there. And the back of the book, again, really nice, just showcasing that Jim Lee artwork there. Obviously giving you a description and the contents as well. So there's a lot in this book. There's a big volume, big chunk of stuff. If you want to feel free, you can, of course, pause the contents there, take a look at it for yourself if you're not familiar, but effectively what you're getting is the Justice League New 52 run from the beginning right up until the Forever Evil storyline. This stops just before that, and it takes it to, and therefore that takes it to around about the halfway point of the Justice League run overall. And in the words of this book, this blurb itself, this is the first of 2 all-new oversized hardcover collections. So theoretically, as long as DC follow through, we should get a second volume of this, hopefully soon, and that should collect the full thing, the whole New 52 Justice League run, if things go according to plan, according to what they're saying on the back. The book itself, underneath the dust jacket, again, nice design. It basically is showcasing Superman and Wonder Woman, who, I guess this is maybe a spoiler alert for those who don't know, but during the New 52, Superman and Wonder Woman ended up being in a relationship with each other. So it wasn't Superman and Lois Lane, as it classically, typically always has been. It was Superman and Wonder Woman, the two of them very much passionately in love, and that was quite controversial. You know, a lot of people don't like that relationship. In fact, I think that was one of the main things people, kind of long-time DC fans, for the most part, were contesting the most about this whole era. For me, it didn't really bother me. Bit of background, I came into comics, and specifically DC, for the most part, largely thanks to the New 52. So when DC launched the New 52, one of the main purposes really behind it was to try and bring in new characters and make the series more accessible to new readers. It's a really nice interior kind of bookend pages here, by the way, just more Jim Lee artwork. Yeah, so I got into reading DC. Prior to the New 52, I'd pretty much only read a lot of Batman books, so you know, the more classic Batman stories like Dark Knight Returns, Year One, Killing Joke, Long Halloween, and that was pretty much all the DC I'd read. Maybe very little other bits and pieces here and there, but it was thanks to the New 52 that I was able to start reading more and more DC characters and become more familiar with these characters. And it was because I enjoyed what I read here that I would go on to kind of go back and read pre-New 52 stuff and really expand my own knowledge and familiarity of DC. So I owe a lot to the New 52 personally, and therefore I suppose it has a soft spot in my heart where I have a fondness for it, even though I do acknowledge its faults. The New 52 was not perfect by any means. But I think the Justice League was pretty much some of the best material that the New 52 had to offer. In here, just want to comment on this as well. You may have seen this in other overviews, but there's a table of contents which includes, you know, everything that's in here and with the page numbers, but that's kind of redundant because the book itself doesn't have page numbers at the bottom of any page that I've seen. But what this is still useful for is checking the mapping of the book. So I've had a look through here already, and just familiarised myself with everything that's in here and the order that it's in. So it is still kind of useful. It's not completely useless, but certainly it would be nice if there were some at least page numbers kind of scattered here and there for a frame of reference as you look through the book. Especially also since the cover's in here. So this is issue 1, the original colouring. You can see that. I'll just quickly show the difference there. So as you can see, that's the original cover with the bright yellow, and then they recoloured it to this kind of dark blue, almost purple colour for the dust jacket. Both look really cool in my opinion, so I'm not exactly bothered by that myself. But these covers throughout, they are, virgin covers. They're just the artwork, so you don't get the title, and more importantly, nowhere on here, even in a little bit of text anywhere, does it tell you the issue number. And I like it when they do that. So if they're going to use virgin covers, occasionally you see this in other omnibus where somewhere along the bottom or the top, they'll just write it, and maybe a little white text, it'll just say Justice League #1, which is useful. I like to see that because I haven't memorized all of these covers in here. I know that that's cover 1 because it stands out, but I don't always know exactly what issue it is from the virgin cover alone. And then another cool feature is on the back of each cover, like the reverse of each one, you get a variant. So this one here by David Finch. But then off you go, you jump straight in with #1. And what this whole first story arc, this first 6 issues or so, is set 5 years in the past of the New 52 starting. So you basically get the first time all of these members of the team met each other. So Batman meeting Green Lantern, meeting Wonder Woman, Superman, Cyborg, Aquaman. They're all meeting each other for the first time. And it makes for some really cool character moments. I think especially the Green Lantern and Batman, when they meet each other. Historically, those two have always had quite a strained relationship. They don't really get on, Hal Jordan and Bruce Wayne. So it's kind of cool to see a take on that right from the beginning. And through here, just absolutely astonishing artwork by Jim Lee and inked, of course, by Scott Williams. Really, really beautiful stuff. I'm a Jim Lee fan. I like to have Jim Lee art in this oversized kind of format, so I think I've got a lot of his work in this sort of collection, this style. Superman, a slightly different costume design for him in the New 52. He doesn't have the red pants on. Some people, again, not too much of a fan of that. None of this stuff really bothered me though, because I was coming into it as, I suppose you could say, the target audience in a way, in that I had very little DC knowledge, at least not from comics. Most of my DC knowledge was from films and TV. So it was really thanks to this stuff, because Justice League was one of the first things I picked up. I picked up the first volume of this in trade paperback. I read all this stuff very quickly, and I was like, I need volume 2. And then I got volume 2 and I read that, and I thought, you know what? And now I want to read Batman. I want to read Superman. I want to read Green Lantern. And it just went on from there. I just got hooked, and I just needed more and more. And before you knew it, I read so much DC. It was crazy. But yeah, it's great to see these pages again. Because I've not read these issues, this run, for years now. In fact, probably been at least maybe 7 years since I read all this stuff now. Been a long time. But this is really, really good introduction to the Justice League, and one of the best panels, the most badass Aquaman panels there's ever been, with just this summoning these army of sharks out of the sea. Incredible. I've always loved that. So for anyone wondering, this is absolutely perfect for jumping on to reading the Justice League. If you've never read any Justice League or even any DC at all, this is incredibly new reader friendly, which may seem obvious from what I've already said from my own experience, but it serves as a really good introduction. It doesn't necessarily hold your hand. It's not kind of condescending in any way, but it gives you all that you need to understand these characters and to follow them on these journeys without feeling lost. You don't need any prior reading specifically coming into this. If you have some familiarity with the characters already, great, but you don't need it. This book will give you everything that you need to enjoy it. For that reason, I think it's surely got to be the best jumping on point for new readers. And this whole first arc, it just culminates in this big kind of showdown with Darkseid. Won't spoil the specifics, but it's an event that very much brings the team together. The first time they fully unite to take down a common enemy. And ultimately, as of the end of that, they decide that the team needs to stay together permanently. At this point, perhaps worth mentioning the binding of the book. Now, as I say, this is a big book, very big book, and DC Omnibus not always known for being the best with the binding. Now, this is good overall by DC standards, which in the past haven't been good. But because of the way that, well, just the way that the modern artwork tends to be with lots of kind of double-page spreads, etc., you see here there is inevitably going to be gutter loss at times throughout the book. It's not terrible. Like you can't really see it on camera here, but you can kind of lean around and see what you're looking for there. It's not huge amounts of gutter loss, but there is going to be some. And to be honest, with a book this size, it's largely unavoidable when you know this many pages, an artwork of this style. So you have to just kind of expect that and accept it, really. And you get, as you go through here, there's a really memorable and great crossover with Aquaman. Aquaman, both this series and Aquaman were being written by Jeff Johns at the time, so he kind of crossed over a story between those two runs. And by the way, Aquaman from the New 52 is also a really good series to read. And that's got its own omnibus as well, at least covering the Jeff Johns run, which is, I have that as well. So I'll probably cover that another time. Feel free to let me know if you'd be interested in an overview of that one as well. I'm happy to do that. You get all these characters introduced, so Green Arrow here. And as well as the Justice League, this is collecting other things. So there was a separate series called Justice League of America. And this stuff can get a little bit confusing. So there was just Justice League, a separate series called Justice League of America. You get some backup stories in here featuring Shazam, originally known as Captain Marvel, but Shazam in here. And those Shazam stories were adapted for the Shazam movie that came out a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. And also a lot of this Justice League stuff was adapted for the Justice League movie. Really, the New 52, it was a lot of the source material for a lot of the recent DC movies, pulled stuff from the New 52, more so than anything prior to that. So if you've enjoyed those movies, Aquaman, Shazam, Justice League, and haven't read this stuff, I would say worth doing that. Definitely. Because it's better in the comics, quite frankly, in my opinion. And Jim Lee, stuck around for about the first 12 issues of this Justice League series. Whenever Jim Lee pencils anything, he doesn't tend to do much more than 12 issues of anything at a time. It's just kind of his trademark, I think you could say. But this is a lot of fun, honestly. I look forward to diving back into this. For me, the problem is always just too many books to read, not enough time, Really cool cover. I really like this. I know that people aren't fans, at least a lot of people aren't fans of the Superman-Wonder Woman relationship, but I thought it was really nice. To me, it makes sense for the two of them to be together because they're, both incredibly powerful people. They don't have to keep any secrets from each other, at least not about their identities and what they do. It was a relationship that worked for me, and there was a separate series during this time as well called Superman Wonder Woman. I don't think it lasted very long, but it basically started the two of them and focused on their relationship and things they do together, and that was fun as well. In fact, it would have been quite cool for that to be collected in here, but I don't think it's directly related, and there's enough in here already, to be fair. But yeah, it's good stuff. I liked that relationship. I know that people, as I say, maybe don't and prefer the Lois Lane and Superman relationship, or just don't think Wonder Woman and Superman specifically should be together for whatever reason. And fair enough. Fans are always going to have their own opinions on this. Oh yeah, really cool cheetah story here. Yeah, that's that image from the spine. Very much a central focus, that relationship, as it develops. And even when Jim Lee leaves the series, you're still getting loads of really nice artwork through here. So there's stuff by Gary Frank, Ivan Reyes, here Brad Walker. Tony Danielle does some artwork in here. Honestly, full of great artists. One thing that DC had no shortage of during the New 52 was great artists. I'll tell you that. Pretty much every series that I read from the New 52, there wasn't much at all where I thought I didn't like the art. I think consistently the artwork was really nice. This book is, it's absolutely massive. Even now, not even quite halfway through the book yet at this stage. It's a huge book full of just so much stuff. This is that crossover with Aquaman. It's called Throne of Atlantis. Basically features an attack by certain groups of Atlanteans on the cities of Earth. So you get these like massive tidal waves causing incredible destruction. So, the Justice League naturally jump into action, and they're kind of brought into conflict a little bit with Aquaman. His loyalties are a little bit divided as to, between his own people of Atlantis and the Earth. So there's some character conflicts there. All very interesting. Mira is just one of the best characters. Like, I'm not going to say best female characters, just best characters, full stop. She is a badass. And in this series, this Aquaman New 52 series that she pretty much co-stars in with Aquaman, she's just incredibly cool. Honestly, love the character as she's depicted in there. Yeah, so this is just a great story, really cool stuff. That's a weird cover, funny style. Yeah, as I said, just really looking forward to reading this again. I actually only recently read the Aquaman stuff, so this Throne of Atlantis is still pretty fresh in my mind. The other stuff, not so much. And hopefully as I flick through here, I pretty much always reiterate this in my videos, but I like to give an overview of the book. I know that my videos are quite long, so for that reason I do appreciate anybody who sticks around and watches them. But I do that for a reason. I do it because I feel like it's good to give a detailed look through these books and help anybody who's interested to get a really good idea of whether or not it's for you or not. Because there's plenty of other overviews you can watch online, of course. I'm not saying these are supposed to be the best or anything like that. It's just that if I know I'm giving a fully detailed overview, I don't feel like I could do much more. That's all I'm thinking really when I do these. But at the same time, I love comics. I love to talk about the content, so it's fun for me, and I hope it's fun and interesting for you to watch it. These are those Shazam stories, so kind of showing how Billy Batson, he's the kid who gains the power of Shazam, and when he says Shazam, he turns into Shazam, fittingly enough. He used to turn into Captain Marvel, but copyright, so he can't turn into Captain Marvel anymore. Now he turns into Shazam, but he's kind of like a magic version of Superman, really. He's got super strength, flight, speed, etc. And I don't think I read all of these originally, these backup issues, these Shazam stories. I know I read some of them because I recognised some of the familiar plot points from the movie when I saw that. But I don't think I read all of this because some of it looks unfamiliar, but then again it could just be so many years since I've read it, and having read so many just other stuff since, that I've just forgotten some of it, which happens, Really cool artwork though, written by Jeff Johns again. Jeff Johns was just, the guy kept himself busy during the New 52. He was writing so many different things. He was writing Green Lantern, he finished off his run there, Aquaman, Justice League. He wrote the Forever Evil miniseries when that came around. Good job he's a good writer, because he was writing a lot of the stories. So much cool artwork in here, though. This is a really, really nice volume, I've got to say. I wasn't originally going to buy this book. I had the trades previously, collecting a lot of this material, and the Omnibus was announced, and I thought, I can probably pass on that. And then it came out, and I saw it, pictures of it online, and I'd really liked the design, and I was just reminded of how much fun a lot of this is. So, yeah, in the end, I caved in, I bought it. Maybe that's probably something that sounds familiar to a lot of people watching this. I think we all do that sometimes. A book will be announced and we'll think, I can live without that. And then you see it and you think, nah, I can't live without that. But then what you're getting towards the end here, you're building up to kind of the first big event of the Justice League run from this era, which was the Trinity War. And that involved the Trinity being well, at least partly 3 different Justice League teams. So we mentioned already there's the Justice League of America, and there was also the Justice League Dark. Justice League Dark, separate series, getting its own omnibus soon enough, I think, in the next few months. And that Justice League Dark was a team of kind of magic users. So I think John Constantine was on that team, Zatanna was on there. Magic users, basically, you know. And they all get involved in a big kind of conflict in the end here. The storyline, Trinity War. And as a result of that, the end of Trinity War directly leads into the beginning of Forever Evil, which, assuming Volume 2 does in fact get made, Forever Evil would have to pretty much be the beginning of that book. Just because of where this one ends. This ends immediately before that. So if we get Volume 2, that will start with Forever Evil, I'm sure. And I really hope we do, you know. I honestly really hope we get a Volume 2. Binding's holding really well here, though. I'm almost at the back of the book. It's not closing itself, so that is really good to see. Not always the case with these larger books, especially the DC ones. I think it's safe to say they're improving. And yeah, I'm just going to skip over the last pages just because there's a bit of a spoiler at the back. Yeah, so if we instead just go to the back of the book, and what you get in here is lots of variant covers by various artists. Just give a flick through here, but there's loads of them. I've already skipped over a few, I think, but yeah, some really cool covers in the back here, really nice artwork. And then some character sketches by Jim Lee. I think he designed, or rather redesigned, a lot of these characters and their costumes, specifically for the New 52. So you get a lot of these original designs in here. These are really cool. And some original pencils as well. That's also really nice to see. A good collection of stuff in here. So honestly, a really nice book overall, and one that I wasn't going to get originally. It's a book that I'm now very happy that I did get, and one I'm really happy to add to the collection. And I'm looking forward to properly rereading it again, hopefully in the near future, once I get a couple of other things off my reading list. But yeah, so hopefully that was useful. As I say, that's my main intention here, really. So I hope it was. And thanks for watching again, for sticking with me through the video here. If you want to throw me any likes, any comments, if, you know, let me know your thoughts on the book, the New 52 in general. Do you have this? Are you going to get it? What other New 52 omnibus maybe should I pick up? Because at the moment I've only got this and Aquaman. And I'm kind of toying with the idea of maybe getting the Batman by Snyder and Capullo, or the Batgirl by Gail Simone. I've never read either of those runs all the way through, so not too sure exactly what to go with just yet. But anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I'll be back again soon, hopefully, and we'll cover something else next time.